Ah, childhood. One of the most important stages in a human's life. A time filled with joy, wonder, excitement, and lies. As a child, the world seems magical and things seem unreal. But slowly and surely, things go from unreal to real. As a child, a specific moment that I will never forget occurred when I was out with my mother shopping. On this particular trip, I wanted ice cream. Now back then, the boxes looked just like this, and boy, I couldn't wait to get my hands on one of those cold, delicious ice creams inside of one of those boxes. Now, you can just imagine the absolute heartbreak and earth-shattering moment when I discovered that there was, in fact, no ice cream within the box. Just an empty, hollow, soulless cone. A lot changed for me that day, and as I got older, moments like this would occur again and again. Movies that I grew up with all had their own ice cream boxes full of disappointment. Excitement would always be followed by disappointment and frustration, as my favourite movie characters, creatures, and gadgets turned out to be not so real. So now I'm going to show you a video of me breaking down some of my top picks for things from movies that I wished or thought were real. Let's see if we have a few in common. Jamanji. Even though it's terrifying that you could be sucked into a board game, into another world where there's vicious animals trying to kill you at all times, I wanted one of these things. I don't think the actual game itself, I wanted the wooden box. The wooden box, just sensory, I don't know what it was, the curves, the carving on it. It was just so beautiful. And the little bowl in the middle that has all the smoke in it, it was awesome. And I think it's funny, things like this that really got me as a kid. The thing that really made me want one of these was the opening scene where you can hear the thumping and the doof, 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 and it goes to the construction zone and there's just a wall of dirt, and they rip away all the dirt and it crumbles, and then there's the board. That just set me off as a kid. I needed one of those. And of course, Toys R Us had one, but it was nothing like the movie. It was a cardboard box that nowadays they actually have wooden versions of them. They're still not like the movie. They are closer though, and they have plastic carved versions which aren't like the movie. Post-edit Jack. I had to just mention this and put this in here. While I'm mentioning the different board games and editions that came out for Jamanji, the very first one that I talk about and mention is literally in this room. I don't know how I left that out or forgot that I have one right behind me. Just a second. Jamanji. Much like something in this video I'll talk about in a little bit, I didn't get this as a child. I actually got this quite a little bit later, I think when I was about 16, 17. It may have been a birthday, but I definitely would have gotten this from my mother, and she, along with me, wanted one of these things just as bad as each other. Wasn't anything like the movie, but just looking at it now, it actually is really impressive, and I love it. One thing I will note is it has some weight to it. It's not light with all the things inside. Now, obviously, there is no smoking middle piece where it will suck you into another dimension, but we get this really cool old school 3D reveal thingy, and every Australian male's favourite thing to get tattooed, an hourglass, because, time's important. Yeah, I wanted one of these for so long, and even though I got it a little bit later in life, it didn't matter. I had finally gotten one of these things. It's definitely a timepiece. It reminds me of Toys R Us, RIP, and the good times I had there. A bit of an honourable mention, the Zathura board, which is like a different type of person. You have woodwork people and then you have metalwork people. The Sathura board was the metalwork version of it. So cool. I wanted one of them too, but just the nostalgia of Jamanji puts it above that for me personally. Now we come to an interesting one. We're going to hear a few things from this movie in this list. To start off, Spy Kids. So not the one you think I'm going to say. It's coming. Don't worry. Spy Kids 2. To start with the whole Spy Kids thing, I'm going to list off 2 that I really wanted as a kid. The first being the miniature animals that the weird guy, I think Steve Buscemi makes on the island, because he's bored and there's no women on there. But I think he makes like an elephant, a giraffe, birds, like everything, and they come running out. It's a full miniature island. I don't know how he made the island miniature. And if you can make animals, I guess you can make other stuff. Now, another one in Spy Kids 2 is Ralph. My dog is actually named Ralph. Not after this Ralph, but still. Super cool name. The little bug thing that Junie has, and it climbs on the wall and it can listen to people talk and spill their secrets, and just looked super cool, and it was cute, fit in his pocket. It was his little best friend. I really wanted one of those. I think what made it even worse was McDonald's actually had a Ralph toy that you had to buy in pieces. McDonald's with the good tactics. Like, yeah, you had to like get an arm, and then the head came in another piece, and you slowly put it together. And of course, like I did, get them all together. I don't know where it is. It is somewhere here. If I can find it, I will include it in post edit, but still super cool. So I actually had kind of a makeshift one, but to have a proper little Ralph that could crawl over the walls and not shit in my garden and rip up all my washing and laundry, it'd be so much. This one's a little bit of an odd one. It's more of a shout out. It's more of an honorable mention, but for me, I have to list it. Gremlins. Not those Gremlins, the bad ones. The little cute fuzzy ones. That's right. That's a Furby gizmo. Bet you didn't know those exist.
Is that Gizmo from Gremlins?
No, that's my Furby. Gremlins Interactive Gizmo. Furby sold separately.
The Mogwai gizmo. Man, I was getting one when I was 6, and then I found out they don't exist. Another heartbreak for Jack. It just doesn't end. Now, while I didn't get a Gremlin or a Gizmo or a Mogwai, I did, however, get something pretty close and more like a Gremlin, I'll say, but just as cute. This is Emery. Now, I don't know if I can get him to do it, but it doesn't take much. He's a natural. Destined for stardom, this one. I now have fur everywhere. He does cause me to lose hair just as much as he loses fur, but it's a trade-off. The Mogwai was something I was obsessed with, and I really wanted one. Another little companion. Oh, so good. Such heartbreak when I found out those things weren't real. But yeah, there's no chance those things are coming to fruition. I watched Guardians of the Galaxy 3 and how they made Rocket. I don't want that to happen. Let's not make animals out of stuff. So we'll leave that one to be, but I really wish Mogwais would be real. Probably without the whole water and chicken after 12 rule. We can do with that, probably. How do you wash those things? I wonder what one would look like shaved. That's why we can't have them, because people would do horrible stuff to them. Not me. I'm just putting it out there. Now, this one's a little bit less mainstream as the other ones I'm going to list on this video, but to me, I really wanted one of these things. It's another companion, and I think that says something about myself. Maybe I'm lonely. Maybe I'm lacking something. Anyways, it's Weebo from Flubber. Now, some of you might not have seen this movie. I definitely did as a kid, and Weebo is basically this floating, it looks nothing like it, but for some reason the thing that I kind of link it to is those floaty chlorine filters that you put in the pop-up housing commission pools. I definitely had one of those. It looks like that, but it doesn't need water to float. It hovers on itself. That's a clue as to another thing we're going to talk about later on. Hover. I really wanted one of these things. It was so cool, like a little personal best friend that you can just have follow you around, help you out with things. Nowadays it'd probably get annoying with the type of person I am now, but back then I definitely wanted one of these things, especially like the other one that was red. Anything that's like main and has like an offshoot, I always want the offshoot. Like I was obsessed with Batman as a kid. As you can see in the background, there's a few things, but I really wanted a Robin toy. I always wanted a Robin toy. This one is pretty cool. Like if it was real, there'd be chaos, but still, some people just want to watch the world burn. It's the voice changer from Scream. Now, I was actually really disappointed when I found out that this thing wasn't real. It must have been in year 8 in high school when I got curious to see, can I buy one of these things? There must have been a few people that I wanted to prank to look that up. Yeah, I was really let down that this thing wasn't real, because at first glance you think it would be real, and then when you think about it, you're like, it's a little bit harder than initial thoughts. It sucked, but one day it might be real. I can actually see someone making something like that. There are a few things out there I think that are close, but just not like it is in the movie. The movie's just unrealistic like always, but super cool. With deep fakes nowadays, like anything is possible. I think that would be easier, coming up with the whole deep fake idea. So we can do that. We should be able to make a Scream voice changer. This could have easily been number 1 for me, but it's not going to be as mainstream for everyone else. It's the toys from Small Soldiers. Watching that as a kid just really blew my mind. And when you see footage now of Stan Winston and how they made those little toys move around and interact and talk, no CGI really, it was all live props. Really wish movies would stick to that nowadays. I really wish that they made the toys just closer to how they were in the movies. Like the Jamanji board, they were close, but they weren't. As you can see in the background, right there, I have Major Chip Hazard, Archer, and the spinny guy. I forget what his name is. And I also have the Rhino guy who's in a box. My mum got that for me for like my 16th birthday. The movie came obviously before I was of age to like want toys and stuff like that. And I'd hear stories that they were in stores when it came out, but they were long gone by the time I was wanting one. It was always that hunt, like, can we find them? Back then we didn't have access to eBay or things or computers like that, me personally. So once I was about 16, that was the time that all these things started becoming available again. It was just so nostalgic when I opened up this box that my mum had gotten me. Plain box, just a normal. It was such a surprise, and it was all of them. I'd always wanted these toys, and yeah, it was so good. In that point, I couldn't even care about them being like the movie after that point. It was just the fact that I'd finally gotten these toys. But if they came out in box, I'm hugely obsessed with packaging. If they came out in the boxes that they were actually like in the movie, I'd track them down. There would be nothing stopping me from getting one of those. I've seen some replicas that look amazing, but they're always hard to like find who made them or who makes them, and they're really hard to make, so you can't mass produce something like that. There's so many things that are getting made from childhood movies from people that are just passionate about it. So hopefully someone who has all the equipment and tooling makes these things, because I would definitely buy them. If you know someone that does make them, I really want one. Same as the Jamanji board, same as everything in this video. If you know someone that makes replicas of our childhood props, characters, toys, boxes, whatever they are, drop them in the comments. Let's help those people out because they need our support. This one is like, this one actually might exist. I'm not sure. That will actually be a really great follow-up video for this video. Things in movies that we wished were real that actually were invented and became real. That would be a really good video. Like the Nike Air Mag from Back to the Future 2. If I'd done this video like 6 years ago, those shoes would be in this video, and then they became real. Nike actually made versions of them. They started off without the automatic laces, and then they made like only 100 of them, I think, that actually lace up. They're a lot slower and it looks kind of janky, but they are real now. So I might do a video where things actually became real from movies. Now this one might be real actually. I've heard reports that the military has developed things that are pretty much similar, like bang on. It obviously won't ever be like as amazing as the movie, maybe, you never know, but it's the Harry Potter Invisibility Cloak. Really wish I could have got my hands on one of those things just to disappear sometimes. God. Yeah, there's not much to it, but I have heard reports that it is real, that the military have developed something that is quite close to this. Top Gear have done, like, you always think, how could you get around those laws of physics? Top Gear done an episode where they had a car and they had TV monitors projecting the opposite sides, so it looked invisible. Looked horrendous, but you could kind of see it. And I guess I can weave this into the same thing along with the Harry Potter Invisibility Cloak, the Predator, the invisibility device technology that he has, same thing. So really wish that could have came about and been made. Another honorable mention is the mirror from Harry Potter, the one that shows you everything you want. This is another top one for me. This is probably like top 3 for me personally. I have personal reasons why I want this to be real. Teleportation doors. Specifically the ones from that Simpsons episode. I'm pretty sure it was a Treehouse of Horror. I wanted this personally because my grandfather lived in another state and it was like a 12-hour drive to get there. And I remember watching that. My immediate thought was, bang, put one up at my pa's and then I can just go visit him whenever. Yeah, I'm annoyed that we haven't got those yet. That's actually one thing I really hope that they do make. But the technology needed to do something like that. You can just imagine. This one's a bit of a funny mention. Obviously, like, it could be real actually. This one, there's been talks about it for years. Dinosaurs. Now obviously Jurassic Park is what I'm mentioning here. How cool would that be? It'd be catastrophic but for like a good few months, it'd be good. And then someone would stuff up. We'd have like a Harambe situation on our hands. RIP. Me personally, I want the Tasmanian tiger to be brought back. I believe it's still alive. The bush down in Tasmania, thick. Not with a double C. Thick, CK. If we were to get that technology, which apparently we do have, Tasmanian tiger and the woolly mammoth, because that's the one that they're always mentioning. They're like, we can bring it back. We found like a full fossilized version of it. Tasmanian tiger, yeah, if we can bring that back, that's my dinosaur, pretty much. Like, obviously probably don't bring dinosaurs back, it's not a good idea, but the things that we wiped out that could kind of assimilate back into the natural habitat, definitely. So this is obviously like a top pick for most people. Top 2, top 3 lightsabers. Even though they completely don't make sense, it is so dumb, the science, when you think about this. There's so many things that don't make sense, like how when they cross, don't they go through each other? There's just too many moving parts with this, but God, they look cool. And I wish they were, but they're not. And that speaks for Star Wars itself. The whole thing is rich with lore that's just holding on by a tight thread of some guy just made it up because he thought that was a good idea. There's so many contradictions and things that don't make sense. Sorry Star Wars fans, but don't lightsaber me. Because you can't, they're not real. Sucks. They're one of those things as a kid that you think like, I can make one of those, I'm going to try. And then you realize it's just, there's no point. There are really cool videos. Forget their name, but there's a studio that makes things from movies like an Iron Man suit. Honorable mention, which Iron Man suits were real. It's like gas. It's not whatever the hell the thing is that comes out and doesn't exist. Different technology that we don't have. Now, this is the top one. This is the one that made me think of doing this video. and we've all thought about it. We've all wanted it. What is it you say? Come here. Let me tell you. It's the microwavable fast food from Spy Kids 1. Yep. This was something that I would watch as a child and sit there and think to myself, don't worry, Jack, don't worry. It's going to be real one day. Someone's going to take one for the team and invent this. Don't get angry. Don't get frustrated. It's not real. Mum didn't let us have Maccas today. One day I'll be an adult and we'll have the microwavable fast food that comes in chocolate packets. Just one day. I just got to get older. Just have patience, Jack. I'm now 26 years old and we still don't have it. It's just 2-minute noodles. The frustration in saying that, yeah, I can't put it into words. But what a cool idea. Whoever made that, imaginary hat goes off to you. When I seen that as a kid, when we all seen that as a kid, mind's blown. Like, wow, what a top job. Number 1, the top of the list. Last but not least. I left the best to last. And you can probably guess what this is going to be. It's on the thumbnail, and there's probably a few people on Earth that don't know what this is or wants it to be real. Of course, it's the hoverboards from Back to the Future 2. As a kid growing up, I was absolutely obsessed with magnets. I still to this day believe that that's our technology that we should be looking into. Probably really good reasons why we haven't used them yet, but you still have to show me good enough reasons as to why we're not using them just yet, because they literally float. We have floating technology and we're not harnessing it. Why are we not funding this? Another really interesting fact that I must mention is that Back to the Future has an instant microwave under the name Hydrator. This most likely gave the creators of Spy Kids the idea for their very similar rehydrator. Now, not only did it look cool, goes over water, any surface, it's kind of unbelievable. As a kid, obviously you think this is real upon the first time watching it, and then you get your heart broken like everything in this video, and you find out that in fact it isn't real, it is a lie. And I think we can all say that we definitely wanted that Pitbull version that Biff had. So that does it for this video. Hope you all enjoyed it. A video will be dropping regularly. Now, enjoy this video, because while you're enjoying this video, I'm working on this deep dive that I know will be very, very interesting. Have some patience with me. Strict schedule. I'm going to get it done. I really hope everyone enjoys this video. If I missed out on something from a movie that you wanted to be real as a child, or something that you thought was real and then you found out it wasn't, please list it in the comments section. I really want to hear what it was, because I get a kick out of these things. Really had fun doing this video myself. I'm going to think of like 10 more things that I wanted to be real in a movie. But, special honorable mention, Goddard from Jimmy Neutron. Man, I wish that thing was real. Why wasn't that on the list? Everything about Jimmy Neutron, the lab, all of that. I can't stay for long, I have to go. But him, first off, I wanted a dog. Couldn't get one. I have one now, Ralph. Special mention. We talked about him before. But Goddard, self-destruct mode, can do funny voices, has like a screen voice changer. So he's got more than one on him. Bet you didn't know those things were made. It's not like a 1-to-1 scale replica, but it is an official Mattel or whatever, whoever made it. It's an official Jimmy Neutron release. It's actually an RC remote control toy. So there's a little remote and he can move around. He makes bark sounds. And the best thing about it, I don't know if you can see, but inside his head, he has that dome that he had in the movie, and the brain spins around and lights up. It's actually really close to the movie. So that's why it wasn't in the video, because I have one and you don't. Catch you later.